right, what's up, PT kids? It's Miss Jasmine here, and I'm here to bring you a weekday or weeknight lesson. But before we get started, I'm going to open us up in a joke, okay? So, what did the left eye say to the right eye? Hey, you give up? It says, between us, something smells. Okay. So I'm going to open us up in prayer, and then I'm going to talk about what our lesson is going to be for today. So, dearly Father, I just thank you that we are here today, that we made it to this day. Lord, I just pray that whatever is said and spoken out will be imparted into the hearts that hear, and that it can be applied. In your name I pray, amen. So we know that February is known for a couple of things. Can you guess what it is? So I think you're on the right track. So February, first and foremost, is known for Black History Month. So can you name the continent that my earrings are? It's not a state, it's a continent, okay? So this is the continent of Africa. And I'm making sure we represent, but then also representing God, because we are in the Bible, okay? And I wanted to present something that is related to Black history. So I'm going to be talking to you about James Durham. He was born into slavery, but then became a doctor. So pretty cool story. So in order to make good on our promise and follow God's calling for us, many of us have to overcome some serious obstacles, but none of us probably has overcome the same sorts of obstacles as James Durham faced. Durham was born in Philadelphia in 1757 as a slave. It was time when people of African descent were considered subhuman by most well-to-do whites. Even some Christians turned to the Bible to justify racism and the institution of slavery, alleging that blacks were descendants of Ham, which was Noah's son, who Noah cursed. Durham, even at a very young age, proved these stereotypes wrong to everyone with whom he came in contact. Owned by a series of doctors during his childhood, he impressed them all with his intelligence. They took the time to teach the boy how to read and write. His third owner taught him something about medicine when Durham was a teen. The doctor died during the American Revolution. Durham fell into the hands of the British officer, who put him to work healing his soldiers. When the war ended, he began serving a Scottish physician named Dr. Robert Love, who taught him everything he knew about medicine. Durham bought his freedom by age 26 and set up shop in New Orleans, where he treated people of all races. He could speak to his patients in English, French, or Spanish, and his work treating diphtheria earned the notice of Dr. Benjamin Rush, now known as the father of American medicine. He was so impressed with the man that he invited Durham to move to Philadelphia. So he died in 1788, 31 years after he had been born in the city as a slave. He practiced in Philadelphia for several years, becoming an expert in throat ailments before returning to New Orleans to help fight a horrific outbreak of yellow fever. He disappeared in 1802. So February, like I said, is Black History Month, a time when many of you all are learning about the contributions of African Americans made to our society. So I always say that African American history is American history, but we have to take this time out to acknowledge it because it's not always written about. So we have to acknowledge it and include it in American history. That's why we have African American History Month or Black History Month. So sometimes in the midst of all the facts and figures learned in your class, we forget these inspirational figures, provided something we can learn today. So Durham was born a slave, certainly not the best situation to begin with for anyone who would want to be a doctor, Who else do you know who overcame serious adversity to become successful? What obstacles have you overcome or are having to overcome right now? So few of us are successful all by ourselves, and Durham is no exception. He was helped by people who believed in his ability. Have you had people in your life who have encouraged you, taught you, believed in your skills and talents? Who? Who are those people? Have you had the opportunity to encourage someone else? So when you study Black history or history in general, who inspires you? What lessons can we learn from the past? If you could meet somebody who lived before you were born, with whom would you most like to talk? In the Bible, it says in Romans 8:18, I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. Bless those who persecute you, bless and do not curse. That's Romans 12:14. And in 1 Peter 2:19 through 21, for it is commendable if someone bears up under the pain of unjust suffering, because they are conscious of God. But how is it to your credit if you receive a beating for doing wrong and endure it? But if you suffer for doing good and you endure it, this is commendable before God. To this you were called because Christ suffered for you, leaving you an example that you should follow in his steps. So parents, I encourage you to start the conversation with your children. Who is someone that inspires them in Black history? It can be present, it can be from the past, it can even be themselves for the future. And have them write a little short paragraph or a couple of sentences or a few words, depending on how old they are, and then draw the picture of the person. So I hope that this blessed you, and that is something that you can continue out through the month of February.